I think I'm live. Let's see. What does it say? Okay. Well, it says I'm live. If there's anybody here, can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Oh, what was that? I've got my, what the heck? Yeah, I can hear myself. I don't like this. Let me shut this down. I had to turn my mic off because that's weird. I can hear myself. So I'm just going to shut my mic off. Let's see. We got, hi, Sheila. Hi. Hi, DJ. Oh, good. You can hear me? Lane. Yay. Long time no hear. I just saw that. Um, I'm having a brain fart right now, but yeah, I just saw he changed the name of his channel to Purple Coconuts. I was like, what? Who's this? Yes, buddy. Hey, how you doing? It's so when you guys, use like letters and numbers for your names, I always feel awkward saying, "Hey, ERWM6U," but there you are, Purple Coconuts. What the heck? When did you do that? I didn't know you had changed your name. I was like, "This is you got to tell me the story behind that." Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. Wow, this is great. I didn't expect so many people in here already. That's awesome, you guys. Thank you. I haven't done a live in a while. Well, hi, Bobby. Sheila, no, I'm not home. And we're going to talk about that. My 3-week trip up here is turned into 6 weeks. Hey, Sandy. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. How's the weather back home? It's kind of cloudy and overcast up here, which is okay. It's not raining, but yeah, I don't know. I went to the airport. I tried to leave again yesterday, and the situation that's going on with the airlines is still going on. It's not something that they're going to fix in a week, apparently. So it's just it is what it is right now. But I am scheduled to fly out Wednesday, and I'll tell you what, I have been trying not to fly out at 6 a.m. They have a 6 a.m. flight, and then they have a 2 in the afternoon flight. I keep rescheduling for the 2 in the afternoon because in order to fly out at 6 a.m., I have to be at the airport at 5, which means I have to get up at 4. And if you guys know me, I'm not a morning person. Yeah, well, they don't have a, you would have to take the bus to the train up here. But it's from a song by Barbara. Grandma's crochet corner. Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that. I was just wondering because it's like, when did you change your name? But it's cute. I like it. Oh, you're having sunshine? That's the way it's this is how I imagine the UK to be. It's always either overcast or rainy, which, I like. It makes everything green, but it's nice to have occasional sunshine as well. And I took advantage of it. When you guys saw when we had sun, I would go hang out at the beach all day. It was really beautiful, but it's cold. It's not like it's warm and sunny. Yep, still long lines at the airport. But you know what? Where I'm at, the airport that I'm flying out of is teeny tiny. There's just they don't even open. I got there before my plane was going to fly at 2, so I thought, get there an hour and a half early. Nope, they don't even open until an hour before. I had to wait till 1. So I sat there for half an hour waiting. And then finally at 1, they let me check out. I was first one because, like I said, it's a teeny. There's only one plane at a time going in or out, and they tell me ahead of time, like at least an hour ahead of time, that the plane's going to be delayed or whatever. At least that's how it's been going. But yesterday they did not tell me. Hey, Christopher, you did get a notification. Hi, Tim. I was trained. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna find him. I hope things are better by then. Hi, Deanne. Hey. Well, get a mop then, Christopher. That's the best place to get one is at Walmart. But yeah, I was trying to avoid having to leave at doing the 6 a.m. flight because that means my daughter has to drop me off at the airport. And normally she doesn't even wake up at that early because she doesn't have to be to work till so he has to get up hours earlier just to drop me off. And I was trying to accommodate him, my husband picking me up, my daughter taking me, but they understand. Hey, Olivia. Hey, so good to have you here. Hitchhike, yeah, I thought about it, but no, my beautiful daughter-in-law and my bestie, they both have offered to drive up here and get me, but, I'm a cheapskate, you guys. I paid for a ticket, and it's non-refundable. I'm not gonna get my money back, so it's like, I am using that ticket, man. I'm not letting it go. No, I'm not home. I'm not home, Olivia. Take a Greyhound. Yeah, well, if it came to that, I would, but you guys, I'm staying with my daughter, for one. And I'm in the most beautiful place I could possibly be. It's not like I'm in this super big hurry to get home. So it's kind of been a blessing that this has happened. It's like, this is cool. So when they bump me up, I'm just like, oh, well, I'll have to spend a couple more days in paradise with my daughter and granddaughter. Darn, darn, darn. Hi, what's your name? X1Z22. I, it would help. Exactly, right? I'm using that ticket, you guys. Yeah, I've got 2 kitties here. I've got one right here, and then I've got another one over there. That one over there is my favorite. He's an old man. He looks like Grumpy Kitty from the Grumpy Kitty memes. I just love him. If you took the bus back 3 weeks ago, you would be right. I know, right? I just put my witch's hat on and I'll fly home. We're planning on one big trip a year. Where's the nearest airport in Southern Cal? Well, we have there's the one in Ontario, or there's the one in Palm Springs. I prefer the one in Palm Springs because it's small. It's real little, but they're both about an hour from me. I do too, Olivia. I hope by then they get it straightened out. I hope they do. Do you miss Edie? My buddy? Yeah, she's sick right now, and I'm worried about her. I want to be there for her. Hi, girl, Homo sapien. Hey, good to have you here. No, Janice, still not home. Still stuck in paradise with my daughter. But I really think this next flight out on Wednesday, it'll go. Oh, DoorDash. Okay. Sorry. Or, I haven't done it up here. And I can. I can do Uber up here, but I haven't. Yep. I'm still here. So it's been an extended vacation. You guys, I've never had a vacation this long. So, kind of been nice. I like hanging out with her. We joke about it though, because I mean, who wants their mom to hang out for 6 weeks? But we're best friends. I love my daughter, and she loves me. And she said, even the people at work tease her, like, "Oh my God, your mom's still here, you poor thing." And she's like, "Really? It's not that bad. She does the dishes and helps cook dinner, and we hang out. We're the same person, so for us, we it just works out really good. We enjoy each other's company. So it's been fun for both of us, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've been trying to avoid flying out at 6 a.m. It's going to be a nightmare, but I'm going to do it. It's going to be a nightmare for all of us. For my daughter having to get up. Um, the only one I think will be okay for is my husband because I'll be landing in Palm Springs just about the time he'll be getting off work, and he works down in the desert, so it'll be good for him at least. And he'll just pick me up on the way home from work. So that's going to work out. But I have to get 4 a.m. That's the middle of the night. I can't even, I don't know how that's going to work. I told my daughter I'm going to have to go to bed at like 6 p.m. so I can get up. So we'll see. Yeah, I am. I'm having a good time. So I'm happy. The audio is cutting out. I was worried about that, you guys. She lives in an apartment, and we do have problems with the internet, especially when it's like cloudy out and stuff. I noticed. I'm sorry. I wish I could do something about that. I had the same problem at home. Hi, Alfonso. I am. I'm having a very blessed day. Thank you. My name is. Oh, I like that. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right. I don't want to mess it up. Is it sugar? It equals brave. Am I pronouncing it right? Sugar? because that's a very cool name. Lainey is keen to go to both Orlando. Yes, yes. As much as I would love to have you guys come here, Disney World is by far better than Disneyland. You can't even compare them. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I wish I could do something about it. But yeah, it is what it is. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'll be home Wednesday. Um, it's going to be sad because, like I said, I really enjoyed my stay up here. I've gotten to see a whole new way of life up here. You know, Southern California to Northern California is two different cultures, two different worlds, believe it or not, even though we're the same state. It is a completely different lifestyle. And I think the lifestyle up here would be better for me, but there's no access to healthcare. And unfortunately, at my age, as we get older, that is extremely important. I would literally have to drive like 5 or 6 hours to be seen. Hi, Gina. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, so yeah, as much as my heart is up here, you know, it's hard for me because my boys and their families are down there. You know what I mean? So my only hope is to be able to go back and forth. And once we're retired, hopefully that's an option. But it's not cheap to go back and forth, even if we drive. She's 14 hours away and with gas prices, you know, but still, we can still hear you. It seems to get good. Maybe it'll get stronger as we go along, my connection. Hello from Sweden. Wow, I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'd love to go to Sweden. You'll have to tell me what life is like over there for seniors. Yeah, it's changing over here. It's not the same, but now down south in Southern California, and you guys have probably seen it, they talk about it on the news a lot. We have the growing homeless demographic, and they have, tent cities, and they're trying to do away with them and make it literally illegal. It's illegal to be poor and live on the streets. I don't know what we're going to do about that. That's just insane to me. But in Northern California, they still have a lot of homeless, but they can literally hide in the forest because this is, we're surrounded by the forest. And that's what my daughter said they do. And as long as they're not bothering anybody, they leave them alone. It's when they're in the cities and stuff that they tend to harass them and stuff. So they still have homeless people up here, but they prefer to be in Southern California because it's warmer, which I understand. It's rainy a lot up here and cold. So you're not going to see as much, but you do see a lot of nomads, people living out of their vehicles. That I see more up here. At least I'm more aware of it. I know. I'm so happy. Thank you, Christopher. I will be coming from Iowa to San Diego this summer. Oh, nice. San Diego is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I wish I could afford to live there. I live next to DC and expecting massive demonstrations in the future as the economy continues to deteriorate, right? They have them all the time up here, which is really cool. Thank you. Yes. Only there's 36 watching. Wow, I'm impressed with that. That's awesome to me. Look and see. I'm going on my phone just for a minute. Let me see what I can, because I'm trying to film this on my laptop, and as you can see, the lighting's terrible, everything's terrible here, but I'm making the best of it. But yeah, right now the homeless population is just exploding. You used to see them here and there. Now it's just encampments everywhere, and what is that? The RTR, the rubber tramp thing, they have it in the desert, is just blown up. Thousands of people go to that. All these people, all these nomads living out of their vehicles and stuff. Good. Yes. Don't shut me up. Oh, I need to go. Yeah. Have a Starbucks for me. um, but yeah, the homeless population, and it's not just young kids. Remember, it used to be mainly young kids. Now it's all old people, like it's all older folks. And we see them everywhere we go, because we go to the beach, we go to the forest, and I still haven't been able to stalk down Stack Camper Van. I think that's his name, Scott, because this is his area. He has a channel, Static Camper Van, and he hangs out in this area. I mean, literally right here in Trinidad and stuff. So I've been watching for him. I wanted to run into him and talk to him. He's been doing it for years. I think 9 or 10 years. He's been a nomad living out of his vehicle, and he's just a lovely man. And I keep thinking I'm going to run into him, and I would love to pick his brain about living out of living out of his van for so long. Hold on. And I think you guys would appreciate interviewing him because he knows. Um, Levi and Indy are getting a new. Oh, that's right. Oh, how exciting! Your daughter is pregnant. Wow, that's the best. I think we're at the end of my kids having kids. My kids are getting too old now to have kids, and my youngest grandkid is like 9, 10. We don't get no more babies. Let's see. I know, isn't it? It's, like I've been talking about, and that's what I want to devote my channel to. I realize that's my passion is talking about it because it is happening. It's funny though, you guys know, but I get a lot of people that stop by and comment, and they're like, "No, you're a fear monger. It's not happening. Seniors aren't being pushed out." And it's like, if you want to be blind to it, go for it. But I see it. I see it. And my daughter's, she's a social worker, so she sees it. And it's a concern. No, I'm not right now, I'm not homeless, but never say never. It can happen to anybody. You never know. So yeah, I my heart goes out to people that are in that situation. And I just am trying to bring an awareness to it because my daughter said, we've had people comment that say there's all these programs to help, seniors. And I thought there was too. I was like, oh, why did they tap into that? And my daughter's like, Mom, they've done away with so many of those programs. People don't even know. And the ones that are left, you have to jump through fiery hoops. There are some areas, and a lot of times the help that you can get isn't necessarily from the government. There's certain charities in certain areas that will help people out. Thank goodness. There's people, but it's not everywhere. It's not nationwide. So there's a lot of areas where there is no help. And it is a concern to see these people, 70, 80 years old who have no place to go and they're living out of their vehicle. And I did a video on it one time. I wanted to see how bad is it if you had to sleep in your vehicle overnight, use a bucket to pee in. How bad is it? Well, it's terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And I have an SUV, a bigger car. Some of these people have tiny little cars. And I parked in a nice area, a neighborhood where I didn't think it was scary. It was not a good experience. So my heart goes out to these people. There's lots of channels on tiny homes and tiny home communities. We do. Remember when the tiny home thing came on the scene? I was like, this is so cool because there's a lot of people that really wanted to scale down and it looked appealing, especially if you're a minimalist, which I'm not, but, I bless them. And so I thought that was going to be a good opportunity for a lot of people. It's like, okay, I can't afford, a big house, but I can afford a tiny home and live nice. No, they've made it so that you can't do that. They've got all these rules and regulations. And they don't want them in their area, and it costs just as much. People jumped on the bandwagon, and they've made them so expensive. They just priced us out of the market. What they're doing. I stayed 1 week at Redwood Valley Inn. Did you like it? Was it nice? Oh, these guys will sleep all day, Olivia. But I did find a really cute tiny home village right up here in Arcata, and we just stumbled on it. We were going to the marsh the other day, and I recorded it. I'll show it to you guys. So then I came home and I looked it up. I was like, what's the deal? Do they rent it out? Do you buy them? Well, the majority of them you have to buy them. And then it said that the space, because it's kind of like a mobile home community, but it was just tiny homes. And the space rent is between 600 to 1,200 a month. But it looked like all the lot sizes were the same, so I don't understand why there would be any difference. And they have 3 that are available to rent, but they're always rented. So I didn't get to find out. I was like, "What's the price? How much does it cost to rent a tiny home?" You know? I thought, "I'd like to see more of those. That would be nice." The only thing about this tiny home village compared to ones I've seen, like you guys seen when I did a video on it a while back. They had these tiny home villages where everybody had yards and space between them. These were like lined up right next to each other. There was no yard. And I just don't think, most people, if they bought one of those, they would like to put it on a piece of property so they can have a garden and a deck and all that stuff. It was just kind of cramped in together. Remember they manufactured. Oh yeah, that's cool. I wonder where. Yeah, I was wondering where they all come from. I know I couldn't imagine living out of a car either. Like I said, I tried it one night. It was a nightmare. How much stuff do we need to function? All this stuff, right? It's true. It's true. And my daughter's that way too. It was nice. Good. I'll have to look into that, Tim. I'm always looking for places to stay. But yeah, the thing with the tiny home is it forces you to get rid of all this stuff, the excess stuff. And as we get older, we need to anyway, because once we're gone, who's going to deal with all that excess stuff, right? So we don't need it. Even though I like stuff, you guys know I'm not a minimalist. Um, I keep my pictures, my treasures from traveling. I like plants. I like candles, that kind of stuff. So I do have stuff. And it probably doesn't mean anything to anybody but me, but I find joy and comfort in my pictures and treasures from my travels. But yeah, eventually I need to get rid of them. I went to, oh, did you? Interesting. And they made the tiny homes there? I would like to downsize, but it would cost me more. That's my issue exactly. I've told you guys that we're in a situation where our house is almost paid for, but even once it's paid for, we still have maintenance, taxes, and insurance, but it's still cheaper than selling it and trying to find a different property, because we paid next to nothing for it, right? We've been there for 25 years or whatever. We've been there for a long time. So if we were to sell it and try and find something now, it wouldn't make sense financially. It would just really be difficult. Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, you have to really be creative. If you're going to live in a tiny home, you just have to be creative. You can do it. And like I said, I would like to I've stayed in them. I've stayed in a couple different tiny homes and they worked out beautifully for my husband and I. They, they had one bedroom and then they had a loft. It was both of them were the same model. I think they've expanded on the models. You can buy different ones and they're even a little bit bigger now. But the original ones, when they first came out, they were all basically the same model. And they had a decent sized kitchen, a little living room, a bathroom, and a bedroom downstairs. And it was all, size fine. And then they had a loft upstairs. The only problem with the loft is you couldn't stand up in it, but it was either a good putting an extra bed if you had a guest, they could sleep up there. It was good for storage, that type. And so I thought this would be nice. And the only thing that was really missing was a dining room. But a lot of people make the deck their dining room, especially if you live in California, because you can eat outside all year long. So, that would work out. It was really a nice setup. And it's still back in my mind. I know. Not everybody wants to downsize. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I agree, Olivia. I'm working on getting rid of stuff right now. My husband is too. I keep telling him that daughter doesn't. Right? They don't want our crap, and I don't want to leave it to them. You know. So yeah, I'm still, got to work on my Swedish death cleaning. Got to get rid of all the junk. You know. Plus, it just makes the house feel better. Just want to make it easier because if we had to move right now, I'll tell you, it's a scary thing because, like I said, we've been in our house for like 25 years. You can imagine how much stuff you accumulate. We still have a lot of our kids' stuff. When they leave stuff behind, and our garage is full of tools, and we really need to start working that. Tiny home with the Murphy bed. Yes, that my grandmother, I was talking about that in my last video. My grandmother had one of those studio apartments. It was, a senior apartment building, and they had Murphy beds. I was so fascinated with that as a kid. I thought that was the coolest thing. But yeah, I thought it was really neat. And she had a little kitchen. It was like a galley kitchen, and then her living space, which seemed big because it was just the only room, and she had a bathroom. And I thought it was really nice. Hubby has a library. Oh God, that's always been a dream. I'd love to have a library. Actually, a library or an art studio, both. You know, that's why I wanted a she shed for the longest time. I wanted to make my own art studio out back. Oh, the garage. I know, right, Gina? I look out there and I'm just like, I I I couldn't. My husband would definitely have to deal with that because he's accumulated, he was in the trade, so he's got tools and oh yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. Really. Like to sell up, get a camper van and use the proceeds. That yeah, I bet. He says no. That was always one of my dreams too, Lainey. I do. I still think about that. There's a gypsy in me that would love to travel, and they've got these really cool camper vans now. I don't know if they're AI, because they show these little Japanese camper vans going for 30,000 with solar. I don't know. Is that true? But anyway, I thought, wouldn't that be cool and travel around? But the only problem with that is, what's the end game? Because at my age, I know I'm not going to do that forever. What happens when I'm done? Will I have enough money to get back into a place? What am I going to do? So I'm worried about, that. So hard copy. Yes, I know. I love my books. I could hold on to books forever. That's a hard thing to give up. But now, they have audiobooks, and I try to collect books on video. I have them, but there's just something about a book. I like holding a book. It's just, yeah, that's just my thing. So, but yeah, from here on out, I probably will be talking about that a lot more. Oh, thank you. I had a lot of coffee this morning, so I'm ready for it. I can handle it. Um, yeah, I've been talking about this, and I want to see where we're going to end up because I still don't know. We don't know where we're going to end up, but my husband, bumped up his retirement. He was supposed to retire this year. He looked at our finances and said, "Okay, I'm going to wait till next year." I have basically a 2-year plan myself. So in that next year to two, we're going to have to make hard decisions. Are we going to stay in the house and will we even be able to afford it? What's going to happen with the economy? The way it's been going, we may not be able to. And then, so what do we do? Are we going to sell the house, buy a camper van? Are we going to try and move in with, one of our kids? We don't know. I like that. Do that. Make that. I want to see that avatar. It sounds perfect to me. I know. I'm surprised when I put mine in. I did mine with ChatGPT. Actually, who made mine was my granddaughter. They teach me everything, and she made that, and I thought it was the cutest thing. I was like, I'm using it. That's my new avatar. I thought that's perfect. My resting witch face avatar. But so yeah, I'm going to pay attention to what's going on with the economy. I want to talk to people that are currently nomads that weren't. Because everybody thinks everybody homeless is just, either a drug or alcoholic or screwed up, or they're young people that want to be nomads. But there's a lot of hard people that just they're like it glitched. I hope it glitched for you guys. But anyway, there's a lot of people that are finding themselves homeless that never thought they would, that did everything right, and they had a home. I've seen the YouTube where people talk that they're like, no, we saved our money, we bought a home, we raised a family, and they basically just got priced out. And something happened. They had some medical issues or some bills come up, they had to help family members, and all of a sudden they didn't have their nest egg. And so they had to make a decision. And fortunately, a lot of people, had an RV or something, so they moved into that. And now they have a YouTube channel. So I like to listen to them. What's it like? Is it difficult to get used to that lifestyle? because I've traveled around in a trailer and stuff, and it's fun when you're on vacation, but it's a different mindset. When you know this is it, this is your home, and if it breaks down, what do? It's your home. It's not just your vehicle. You have to take it somewhere and hope that they can fix it and hope you have enough money to stay in a hotel, while they work on it. Things like that. I worry about that. Sure, children got good. Yes, smart. Good for you. Then you can move in with them. I know. Yeah, my kids. I'm grateful because I know in the back of my mind, you know, I can. I've got somewhere to go. Yeah, subsidized housing, it depends, you're right, there is a list, and they have very few. That my daughter said that because somebody had commented, "Oh, yeah, I tried that," and she's like, "You know how long the waiting list is to get into these homes? People are gonna die before they get into them." "Hi, Lady Dylin. Hi. Oh, that's right, you're in Southern California. I'll be back there soon. I'll be back there soon." But, yeah, there used to be all Jim, where you been? I want to you know what? Have you heard about that, Jim, where people are talking about retiring and just living in hotels? Or some people are just living on cruise ships. I don't know what that's about, but I've seen some videos. I need to watch that. They're saying it's cheaper to do that. You get your meals paid for, your bills are paid, you just pay one upfront fee and you get to travel and hey, if it works. Yeah, they're not always in the safest areas, right? Right? That makes a difference. Hey, I know he's not in the chat right now, but I'm hoping he'll watch this at some point. I did the dumbest thing yesterday, you guys. I went on my iPad, and a lot of times I don't get everybody's comments. It'll go into this held section. For whatever reason, YouTube decides to hold comments. And usually there's no reason. I look at them, it's like, why are they holding this comment? There's nothing inappropriate. But anyway, one of my favorite subscribers who comments on almost every one of my videos, his comment went to the held section. So I went there to read it. It was a great comment. I was going to respond to him. And so before I can respond, I have to hit this box that brings his comment out of the held section. Or if you click the wrong box, it deletes him and all his comments. Guess which one I did? Yeah. I realized it right away and I panicked. I was like, oh my God, I just deleted him and all his comments, but you can go back in. I found his name. I clicked him, checked the box, brought him back in. So he's still a sub here, but all his comments are gone. And if he doesn't know, he probably thinks I did that on purpose. I didn't. And I don't even know how to reach out to him and let him know. I'm so sorry. But I don't know. I'm getting blind in my old age and I have fat fingers. Cruise line, no cooking or cleaning, right? I know it does look good, doesn't it? I wonder what it costs though, you know, to get on a cruise ship for an entire year. And even that, when you get sick of it after a while, how long are you going to do that? You know, I'm trying to think for 20, 30 years. What am I going to do for the next 20, 30 years? I could live another week. I don't know, but I want to prepare for it. I want to be prepared. And so let's say I lived, to be in my family, 60s and 70s is pushing it, honestly. But I do have an aunt and uncle that are both in their 80s, so it's a possibility. And I'm 64. So let's say I live another 20 years. I got to think about that. I got to plan ahead. I don't want to be a burden. A six-story treehouse, that would be a dream. That would be a dream. Me and Laura always talk about me building a tree house in my backyard and her living in it. But I've seen some really cool tree houses, They have some that are like Airbnbs. I think that would be really fun. I want to do something outside the box, something fun. At this point in life, let's just go all in. You know what? I've done that, white the house with the white picket fence, did all that. I want to do something crazy, something fun. I want to enjoy this, even if it is a Disney cruise. Yeah, right? I'd live in a treehouse. Heck, we talked about living in a yurt, although it's a little bit rustic. All inclusive is 50 to 100K a year to live on a cruise ship. Well, when you consider, utilities, and your food and your rent. If it was 50, if it was on the lower end, okay, but even that is way out of my price. But for some people, that would be doable, and they're getting to travel and do, what you're supposed to be doing. So, that might not be a bad way to go. Really, some people should think about it. But now I'm on the way other end of that. I'm on the other side of the railroad track, so I gotta figure out what to do on a very limited income. And like, you guys know right now I have my husband, so we'll have 2 incomes. But one of us is eventually gonna go, one before the other, and I'm always thinking, what if I'm the one left behind and there's only 1 income? What can I do on 1 income? How can I live? So that's where I always go. I'm, like, trying to figure it out. I like to be prepared, and, that's something I've learned in this point, of my life is you gotta be prepared. But even those of us that are the best prepared, life still happens, right? Life still happens. We've been very fortunate, um, 30 to 49, yeah, 5.5 years until the more that's not bad, and I wanna come over there. Yes, I hope so. Yeah, you guys are in great health. Yeah, the world is your oyster. You can share a dream. I'm retired and try to live of 2,800 a month. 2,800 a month isn't too bad. Some people do they really in teepees? Even that, see? But I'm a little kid, you guys know that. I love that kinda stuff. I would love to try different things, tiny home, a tree house, a teepee, living in an RV. I wanna do it all. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just bounce you know? But the thing is, you gotta hope that everything still goes okay. Your health holds up, the economy doesn't get much worse, you can afford to live, on whatever amount of money you're gonna have. We're looking to get oh god, I would love to go down there. I've always wanted to. I actually thought I would actually hike the Appalachian Trail one time. It's never gonna happen. Maybe in bits and pieces. I still have dreams. You know what, Jim, you wouldn't be surprised how many people suggest that to me. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not leaving the country." I don't speak any of the language, and I'm my family's here, my friends here, but people say, you can live very nice for next to nothing in all these other countries, but I know I'd be too scared, to be honest with you. We're in the same situation as you, equity in our home. Yep, that's where our money is. Medically retired 4 years ago. Oh, nice. Nice. You should be fine then. I think you guys will be doing really well. Medically retired 4 years ago. I see that, Olivia. Yeah, a lot of guys looking for, young, hot wives usually. That's why they go over there. Um, I mean, I wouldn't mind visiting. I wouldn't mind traveling, but I this is where I'm gonna live because my family's here. Unless we just will have a huge falling out and they don't want me around, then yeah. But right now, I kinda like it here. Oh, really? I would live in a manufactured home. They have some really nice ones. They really do. Yeah, passport. Yeah, exactly. I've watched YouTube videos. But, yeah, I've seen some really actually, we saw one, and I didn't even know it was a manufactured home. You can't always tell anymore. They're nice. Yeah, but they've made even those. Remember when they were affordable? They were a nice affordable option. It's like, well, maybe someday. Well, now it's like, I can't even afford most of them anymore. My brother bought one, guys. He bought, a mobile home. He got it for next to nothing, like 30,000. And in this day and age, that's cheap because it's in a very nice park, and it was a bigger one, a double wide and all that stuff. He went in there and stripped it down to the frame, and he lived in the bedroom while he was working on it 'cause he's a single guy. Anyway, he put in nice floors, wood floors, he put in nice cabinets and drywall. It looks like a house inside. It is gorgeous, beautiful recessed lighting, and just did all the fancy stuff, and it looks amazing. And now he could easily sell it for almost 200,000 because that's what they go for in his park where he's at. But he's like, why would I do that? I'm just gonna stay here. Space rent is like 500 and something a month. Yeah, I don't want to live anywhere where there's Hi. Hi, Reiki medium. Yeah, you have to consider everywhere has their mother nature things. You've got the East Coast has hurricanes, the Midwest has tornadoes, we get earthquakes, it's whatever. You decide what you can handle. Am I sitting through tornado warnings? Oh, you are sitting through. Oh my God. I They didn't bother me because we would just go down to the basement, and we lived through some really heavy duty ones. We were very fortunate, but you get a warning at least with tornadoes. You don't really get a warning with earthquakes. So that's kind of a bummer. Manufactured homes in a park is really, yeah, yeah. Space rent's 1,500 to 1,800. Geez, see what I mean, you guys? They're making it so there's no cheap alternatives. What are the cheap alternatives now? Because that used to be the cheap alternative. You would sell your house, and that's why you see a lot of seniors in mobile homes, manufactured homes, because it was less expensive, but it was a nice, affordable way to live. They made it so that's not affordable. You get all these greedy people that take advantage of that, and so now what are we supposed to do? 2 hours north, you're in Illinois. Oh, okay. I'm watching the weather all the way around. Crazy right now. Oh, there goes my light. I hope you guys can still see me. See if I can plug it in. But up here where my daughter's at, there really isn't. That's not going to work. That's worse. I'm going to shut it off for now until it charges up. Um, where my daughter lives in Northern California, there really isn't. Oh, it's really dark. Sorry. There really isn't a lot of homes for sale up here because there's nothing up here really. There's the college. People come up here to go to school, or people with money come up here to retire. It's a really pretty place to retire. But if you're still working, there's no work up here. There's nowhere to work. And most of the houses that are up here, they have a lot of old Victorian homes. But what people have done is they bought them and then they rent them out to the students because it's a college town. And it just makes me so mad. So I blow up the house. Oh, I know. I've been watching those videos where they have the blow up tents. Have you seen that? And they have the wood burning stoves in them. We just had a storm roll through where I'm at. Oh, really? I like a good storm as long as I can stay inside. Los Angeles, yay! Yay, Los Angeles. I'm an hour outside of Los Angeles. I hear the South is beautiful. I have family that have, moved there, Virginia, Carolina. My stepdad was in Kentucky. I have family, or not family, but friends that live down in, remember, what is that place? Arkansas. I don't know why I can't remember that. They've sent pictures and it's beautiful. I think there's beautiful areas everywhere, you know. I just don't want to be in a big city. I'm not a big city person. I want to be on the outskirts. And I think that's a dream for a lot of people, but they've made that impossible because we thought, well, we'll just buy a piece of property. I'll live out of an RV. I don't care. I just wanted a piece of property. I want to be able to grow a garden, have my pets, have some space, be outdoors. No, you can't find a piece of property affordable. I know. I was surprised, Jim. Kentucky was beautiful. There was lakes and waterfalls. It's like that's the quiet. They don't talk about that. Yeah, exactly. They do that down there. They sent us stuff, Girl Homo Sapien, and talked about that. And I thought that. Hi, Evie. Hey, good to see you here. So, it'd be interesting to travel and try these other places. We have a lot of beautiful places, and I used to get a lot of crap about being from the Midwest, and I love the Midwest. I go back there and visit as much as I can, and there's some beautiful areas, especially in Nebraska. I love Nebraska. And not to mention the people are the cream of the crop, just really kind people. I got gas in Long Beach on 542. I got you beat, lady. I got you beat. It's up here. It's like 639. It's insane. 542 gallon. I can't wait to get back down to Southern California where it's cheaper. It's usually $1 cheaper a gallon down there. But yeah, gas is nuts. 340. I know. We have some friends that are visiting right now, and they're in Kansas, and they sent us a picture, and that's what it was. It was like 349 a gallon. She's like, ha ha. It's like, yeah, bring some back with you. I agree, Olivia. It is a gorgeous continent. Look at our state parks, we've got some beautiful places here. But yeah, it's getting so expensive, you guys. When you're young and you can work and make lots of money, it's not as big of a deal. But at my age, I'm going to be on a limited income. My options just aren't there, you know? Missouri's even cool. Yeah, Missouri's even a good place. 369. See? That's like almost half of what we're paying up here. They want to charge for wow. Wow. Oh, yeah, Denver's beautiful though, Olivia. I love Colorado. That's another dream. I have a niece that lives there, and I see pictures, and it's like, man, the mountains. I love the mountains. I live in the foothills down south, so I love that area. You actually grew up in Kentucky? Where? My stepdad lived in Corbin. And you know what, you guys? He bought a house down there. They had a mobile home here, him and his wife, and they sold it and they moved to Kentucky. He bought this beautiful house with a huge property. It had an above ground pool. It was gorgeous. And I think they paid like 100,000 for it. It was insane. And it was huge. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that. New Mexico's nice. I love New Mexico. I've driven through it many times. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Palm Springs or Palm Desert. My husband's worked there for 30, 40 years now, but it's so dang hot in the summertime. It's like hell on earth. It's like Arizona. Might as well live in Arizona. I can't, the heat, it just kills you, man. But the rest of the time of the year, it's sunny. It's beautiful. Yeah, anywhere rural. That's the dream. I'd like to live somewhere rural, away from people. I just don't want neighbors all around me, and I wanna be able to do my own thing. I wanna, like I said, have my garden, have animals, play my music, you know? Olivia, you said Denver. You still wanna be a cowboy, do you? Wyoming is supposed to be awesome too. There's so many states I haven't visited, I'd love to check out. I was fortunate because my stepdad was in the military, was a Marine, so we moved like every 2 years. So I did, we lived in Philadelphia, we lived on the East Coast. I've lived in Midwest, in Omaha. I've lived in Texas, outside of Dallas, and then Oceanside, Camp Pendleton. So we got to see all sides except for like far down south and the northern part. I haven't been up there, and I'd like to check it out. Utah is just stunning. Oh, we go to Zion and oh, oh yeah, Red Rock is good. Oh, there my camera goes again. Yeah, there's some beautiful, beautiful areas. I just don't want to be in the big city, but yet as you get older, you need to be close to all those things. You have more access if you live in a big city, and you have a better chance of being in a walking community because a lot of people give up their vehicles as they get older to save money. Well, I can't do that where I live now. Everything's a million miles away, and there's no bus. I couldn't afford to. Yep, I lived in Grand Prairie. You know it. What's it like now? It wasn't that great when I lived there. But I don't know what it's like now. Mexico is gorgeous too. Yeah, I bet. I love New Mexico. Yeah, it's expensive all over. Oh, you got family in Omaha? I love it. Omaha and Lincoln. That's where my family's at. I love it. You're considering moving to a manufactured mobile home park eventually. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, the space rents are ridiculous anymore, and they keep raising them. And, I see people, you get these seniors that move into trailer park or mobile home park, they don't call them trailer parks, and they move in and they're paying, let's say, 540 a month for their space rent. They pay for their mobile home, so they just have their space rent, and they've lived there for years. Well, all of a sudden, they've decided to raise the rent. Like, even if they raised it $50, that really hurts some people, but usually it's more like 100 to $200. They raise the space rent. Well, then now these people have to move. And when you're in your 80s, you don't just up and move. And especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're living on Social Security, you don't even have the money to move. So that's a scary situation. Des Moines, I've been there. They don't charge space rent. Where? Where don't they charge space rent? I want to know. And then some areas, the mobile home parks are beautiful. Like, down in Palm Springs and stuff, they have some beautiful mobile home parks. They keep the landscaping up, they have flowers and stuff, and they're really nice. Exactly, Jim. That's what it is. And it's just unbelievable. God, do you guys remember when my husband and I first got together? We rented our first home, just paid rent. It was a was it a two-bedroom? It was a two-bedroom, but it had a finished basement. We paid like 269 a month for rent. It was crazy. And then we moved out to California and we rented a brand new tract home. And it was a three-bedroom, gorgeous, gorgeous home. And it was 500 a month. This is 30 years ago. Things have changed. Hi, Deb. Hey, good to have you here. Hi, Kim. This is your first time here? Well, welcome. So yeah, it's changed, right? Have you looked at what rents are now? I don't know what they're like everywhere, but obviously it's gonna be higher out here. But my daughter, she's super fortunate. She rents an apartment. She lives in Northern California, and it's 1,100 a month, which is considered really inexpensive because it's a really nice place where she's at. It's a small complex, but it's beautiful. They have tiled floors and new appliances, and the grounds are gorgeous. She's really, really fortunate. But still, it's 1,100 a month for one bedroom, and then she has to pay her utilities on top of that. Down south for a while, my son had rented a one-bedroom studio, and it was 1,800 a month. I That just to me it just blows my mind. How are people expected to save money to, buy a home when they're paying that kind of money for rent? Hi, Lisa. Good to have you here. My mom's house. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Your first apartment is 150 a month, or buying a house for 9,000. My God. Yeah, my son and his wife, they just bought their first home a few years ago, and my son kept putting it off because he kept thinking the prices have got to come down. They can't just keep going up. So he was waiting, and he realized, you know what? They're not coming down. So they bit the bullet and they bought, a house. And I don't want to tell all their stuff here, but they paid they paid a lot. It choked me, but they have a darling, darling house. It's beautiful. I'm really happy for them. But my God, what you have to pay nowadays, just my husband and I couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford to go out and buy our own house. You know, we just couldn't. We couldn't even afford to rent. We joke about it because we thought, well, at some point we'll sell our house, put the money in the bank, and we'll rent a cheap apartment. And we can't. We can't afford it. You can't even buy a car for 9,000 these days. That is the truth. Yeah, remember that too when the cars, I mean, I don't know, maybe they still are, because I know when I went to buy my car just a few years ago, everything was like 40, 50,000. I bought a used car. I can't afford to buy something like that. I wasn't going to have a $600 a month car. There's just no way. But that's bizarre. Oh, hi, True North Sky. Your first house was 42 grand with 2 acres. Oh, your taxes are only under oh, you guys, those were the days. Those can you imagine? And the yeah, well, that's all changed. Hi, it's good to have you here. Things have changed. Things have really changed. I just, I don't know what's gonna happen, so I'm trying to be wise and plan for the future, but you don't wanna do anything. It's like, I don't wanna make any move right now because things are so vicarious. I don't know what's gonna happen, so it's like, when in doubt, do nothing. So I'm just kinda waiting it out, waiting to see what happens before I make any big moves. But at the same time is of the essence. I'm getting older. It's like, how long can I wait it out? I wanna do these things. I wanna live my life, but I don't wanna make a bad move, you know? I don't is anybody else here from Wisconsin? So yeah, that's been my issue. It's like, I know we gotta do something. I know we gotta make some decisions. We can't just sit around waiting for life to happen to us, but it's scary, I don't wanna make the wrong decision because it's not like you can recoup as we get older, it's harder anyway. You make a bad decision when you're in your 20s and 30s, you can, recoup from it. You can move in with mom, you can save some money, whatever. We don't have that safety net. Hush up. Yeah, it's things are just, different when you get older. And I'm trying to be, wise, I guess. I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous. I don't know, and I know everybody tells me to leave California. You guys, it's not that easy to move for one thing. It would take us a year to get our house ready to move. I'm not leaving all my kids and grandkids, you know? It's just not gonna happen. Like my mom said, "I'd rather be poor and live out here and be near my family than move back east and buy a bigger home and be all alone." She did it. She did it. She found out the hard way. She thought we'd all follow her back there. They bought a house in Iowa. I forget how much they spent on it. Beautiful. We were able to pay cash for it, and she said nobody ever came to visit. Holidays sucked, so they sold it. They moved back, and they got a mobile home. And mobile homes were still affordable when they came back. Exactly. If you're lucky enough to have a family that you're close to, because I know not everybody does, but my family is my treasure, and I want to be near them. And as we get older, we need a sense of community because if something happens, they can sell it, right? And tell you to move. You know what's happened with a lot of these mobile home parks is people that have lived there for years. Um, they come in and they tell them, "Oh, your mobile home is too old. We don't want it on our lot. We want the newer one. So you need to get your mobile home out of here." They can't even sell it, and they're supposed to find a way to move it off of the property. I'm seeing that happen because I live in a semi-retired area where there's a lot of mobile home parks. I think he said we had like 60 something mobile home parks, something like that. It's crazy. But I watch it in the news and I see this happen all the time. It's like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? No land is safe now. Ugh, I don't know anything about, we thought we would buy a piece of property, but when you buy a piece of property, you got to pay to have utilities put on it and water and, you know, unless you're going to go off grid. And I've talked ambitious, but at my age, it's probably not doable. But I've talked to people that have. They've done it, they decided to do it, and they warned me. They're like, "Be prepared. It is a lot of work." They're glad they did it, but at the same time, they're healthy and strong, and, they just wanna warn people it's not an easy out. It's not like, "Oh, I'll just go off grid." It sounds so glamorous. Right. Well, it's scary. It's just, it's happening all around us. And so we got to band together, you guys, and that's why I like having this community here. And I appreciate your input. Hi, crazy cat lady. I appreciate your guys' input because I only know what's going on in my area. So I love hearing from you guys, especially people from other countries. It's like, I want to know what's going on. Is it just us? It's not just us. I'm hearing from all of you. It's happening worldwide. Um, and I want to know what are other people doing? What are other grown-ups? What are you guys doing? Because I just still feel lost in all of this. I don't know, and I'm so scared of making the wrong move because I can't necessarily recoup from it. So it is a scary situation for a lot of us. And yeah, well, and that's the thing, Jason, a lot of people do, but they just, are still living paycheck to paycheck. Or if you were, all of a sudden they've upped the price of everything. You guys know that. If you were living on a budget of 1,200 and you could afford it, and now that same budget is 1,500 and you don't have the extra 300, what do you do? And I know a lot of people had a savings to supplement their Social Security, but they've gone through their savings now faster than they had planned because everything costs so much. You have to think about these things. You have to be concerned to plan. You can bury your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. It's happening. And I'd rather be prepared. I don't want to be a fear monger and freak everybody out, but I want to know what my options are. And that's why I do this because I like hearing from you guys. I like hearing what other people are doing. I learned from listening to you guys. Yeah, right. Become a millionaire. First, get $1 million. I know, I do. I worry about making the wrong decision because it's going to affect us. And but there's so many things we have to take into consideration as we get older. Our health is the most important things because how long can we last? If we don't have our health, we're fortunate because I feel that we're both healthy. But I've seen people that I thought were healthy and they ended up dying of a heart attack out of the blue. I'm of the thought that I won't live long enough to worry too much. I hope. My biggest concern is I just worry about my kids and my grandkids. I hate seeing what they have to go through. You know, I just I can't help it. I love them so much, and just watching what they're going through now breaks my heart because my husband and I, things are a lot easier, and I know that. People hate us because we were from the Jones Boomer area. It's not my fault. I was born back then, but things were easier. Jobs were easier. Things are just so harder. I watch my kids, they work so freaking hard. They're working twice as hard and getting half as far. And it breaks my heart for them. And then when I hear people tell them they need to work harder, it's like they got to sleep. They're already working so hard. And people act like, well, it's because they're spending too much money. No, they're I can get in an argument all day long with people. It's like some people don't understand. They just don't get it. You guys do, and that's why I'm glad you guys are here. You guys get what's going on in this world. It's crazy, but there's some people from that old mindset that still believe if we just work harder, tighten your belt. Like, yeah, those rules don't apply anymore. I did too. I thought I'd be long gone before this happened. I didn't want to live through this time. I thought, oh God. And here we are in the thick of it, you guys. We're all in the thick of it right now. Hi, Patricia from Indiana. That's another place I've never been to. I'd like to visit. I know my kids are working on that too. Working harder doesn't cut it anymore. You can work twice as hard, but you don't get rewarded for hard work anymore. You know, they don't even want you to. They've made it so that nobody can work full time because they don't want to pay benefits, or overtime. They let you know when you're getting up to your hours. My last job was that way. It's like, oh no, no, you're not allowed to work overtime. We don't pay time and a half. The price, right? Oh my God, it's funny you should say that, Jim, because that's what I told my daughter. I said, you know what? You need to prepare. You need to have some, me, you guys, I'm a bit of a prepper. It's like at least have beans and rice. If nothing else, you've got protein and starch you can survive because, until things change, at least, you can ride it out. You got to have some preps. I'll always be that way. I'm not an extreme prepper anymore. I went through a period where I did that, I wasted a bunch of money because all that stuff went bad. I don't do that anymore. I'm trying to be, sane. Yeah, what are the gas prices everywhere else? I know everywhere's cheaper than here, but still, 369 is it sounds pretty good to me. We were like that. I think we were that way when I first started doing Uber. We were like that, and I was so happy, and then I just kept going up and up and up. And that's another thing. I don't know about doing Uber anymore, you guys. I'll find out when I go back home. I haven't done it for the whole month I've been up here, obviously. When I go home, I'll find out if it's beneficial anymore or not. 'Cause I heard it's changed a lot just in this past month. I've heard a lot of people talking about it. There's so many people doing it, and it's so competitive, nobody's making money. Really? 393 in Southern New York? Wow, that's not bad. I would have thought it would be higher in New York, to be honest with you. 75 years in rent. Wow, that's a good deal, Patricia. Yeah, they did. They used to actually take care of their workers. Not anymore. Not anymore. You're not rewarded for, being loyal to the company or working harder. What do they call it now? People are quietly quitting. They're just doing their bare minimum. They're not leaving their jobs, but they're not working. There's no incentive to work above and beyond because they used to reward you for it. They don't do that. They just take advantage of it. So people are not putting in the effort anymore, and I get it. Why kill yourself for somebody else when they're not even gonna acknowledge it or reward you for it? It's stupid. I got fired from a concrete job 2 years ago for outworking everybody. Isn't that nuts? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But yeah, that's what we're seeing. And that's what I mean. I try to talk to people, especially like I said, in my age group, we're stubborn and older. We still have that same mindset. Not necessarily me, but I talk to a lot of people in my group that still believes that everything from our generation is still works today. And it's like, you guys, we're in a whole different reality. The world has changed so much, whether they want to face it or not. And they have no sympathy for these next generations. No wow, do you really, Olivia? Isn't that crazy? Who would have thought? But yeah, at least you guys are aware of what's really going on because there's still a lot of people they're just in la la land and they just don't even know what's going on. At least we are aware. I know, aren't we? I think we are living in the twilight zone. Um, yeah, it's just it's crazy. So, like I said, it's scary because when you're older, you don't have as many options. When you're young, you can be like, "Well, I'm just gonna work harder. I'm gonna do all this. I'll get through it." It's not like that. Yeah, I do. That was hilarious. It's a good movie, actually. I need that. I need to watch something funny. Exactly, exactly. Things they're just different. So I'm gonna talk about that more because it does interest me. I want to start interviewing people that are doing it. I wanna talk to people with these yeah, I get it. I wanna talk to other people that are doing it, that are living out of their vehicles. That's why I wanted to find Scott, Static Camper Van guy, because he's been doing it for 9 years, and he loves it. He really enjoys it, and he knows how to make the most of it. Because that's the thing, he's been doing it for so long, he knows all these secrets. Yes, exactly, Elena. Idiocracy, we're living in it, aren't we, you guys? This it truly, at the time, I didn't even like it. What a icky movie, I hated it. Now I watch it, it's like, "Yep, this is life," but we're living in it. But yeah, but I wanna be positive too. I don't because people are like, "Oh, you're a fear monger." You guys, I don't wanna be that way. I'm a realist, but I still find a lot of good things. I still have my sense of humor. I still like to joke about things. Um I love how beautiful our country is, and I do wanna see it. We joke a lot. I think, I'd rather laugh than cry. So my family and I, we're very sarcastic. We laugh about things and stuff, probably things we shouldn't. We have a very inappropriate sense of humor, but it gets us through. And I still, for the most part, I'm a happy person. But I am concerned, because right now I'm on the youngest end of my senior years. I can still do things. I can still be helpful. I can still work, but there's going to come a day, and that's what I'm working towards. Yep. Idiocracy is here. It really is. And, I don't know. I guess I'm lucky because I've never been super rich, so me and my brother used to tease, we can do poor standing on our head because we were brought up poor, poor. I've told stories. We were poor, and I know what it's like to be poor, and I can do poor, you know. I'm not concerned about that. It's just like, how poor can I be though, you know? Um, I just want enough to at least keep some kind of roof over my head and food on the table and see a doctor when I want to or need to. That's all. I don't need a lot. I don't spend a lot of money. I don't shop or anything. Why are you in love with Gary? Exactly. Oh, I know. Can we find the exit door from the Matrix? Are we in the Truman Show? It feels like that, doesn't it, you guys? It's crazy. At least you guys all get it. Like I said, I get people that stop by and they're angry at me. Apparently, their life is rainbows, sunshine, and they just don't know how I got to this place. And I have to explain over and over and over again. I think they think I just was out there spending money and gambling it and just woke up one day and said, "Oh my God, I'm retired and I have no money." It's like, no, things happen, life happens. We didn't expect to end up here, but here we are. And there's a lot of other people in the same position, right? You worked hard, you did all the things, and you're still struggling. It just happens. And we just need to, find our community and work together, and we'll survive. I hope. I keep thinking it can't get much worse. Can it? Can it? We have reality TV stars. Oh my God, right? Oh, you guys. Oh, I know. I remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger ran for office. I was like, that's a joke, right? Nobody's really going to vote. Well, they did. Oh my God, what's going Our country is crazy. My husband works with Orion at Kaiser. They were just, yeah, I saw that with no pay. Yeah, I call him my surrogate son. He's a trauma nurse up in Oregon at Kaiser. And I remember him sending me pictures and stuff. They didn't pay. I haven't talked to him about that. I didn't realize that. Wow, that's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, I know. Right? Can you hear my cat or her cat? What's that? Oh no, it's not her cat. It's outside the window. I think it's a dog. It's like, what the heck? I know. But people loved him, you know. It's just, it's crazy times we're living in. And buckle up. I think it's gonna get crazier. And like I said, if we can't laugh at it, I don't want to fight with people. Because we're all in it together. I don't like seeing I don't want to be divided because they say that's how they keep this going is keeping all of us divided. And we're all in it together. Even if we don't all agree on everything, we're all struggling the same. We're all dealing with the same things. And just we got to look out for each other because they're not looking out for us. So if you see people that need help, I have to stay away from it. They have those everywhere. I went to one for the first time. We went to a casino. My daughter and I went up here, and we went in with 20 bucks. I guess that's nothing. And yeah, like 15 minutes later, we walked out after we fed our 20 bucks to the machine. I was like, how is that fun? That was not fun. I don't enjoy just throwing my money away. I wanted it back. I could have done something with that 20 bucks. But I guess some people actually win, so they keep going. I don't win money, so it wasn't fun for me. But yeah, like I said, you guys, we're all, believe it or not, we're on the same side. We're not them. Like George Carlin said, it's a big club, and you and I, we ain't in it. even if we aren't on the same side of the aisle, we're not on the same side as them, you know? So we have to look out for each other. And I try to do that. And my daughter tries to help people out. She's a social worker and she actually carries around stuff. And when she sees people in need, she's really good. And I'm like, you're barely making it yourself. And she's trying to help these other people, but she sees what they're dealing with. And people come in and she knows their situations. There's so many lovely people, older couples that have worked hard and maybe, something bad happened, their health or something, or they had to help one of their kids and now they're struggling and they can't get any help. And she said they'll be like literally like $12 too much to qualify for any benefits. And she said it just kills her, you know? Yeah, and we see that all the time. And you can't tell them that. And everything's hooked up through computers. So they see everything. You can't, she tries to tell people you can't lie because we're gonna see because they'll come in and they'll try and tell her, oh no, I don't do this or I don't do that. And she says, you just go online and you can see, people just don't understand. Yep, it's the elites versus the peasants, and I'm one of the peasants. But hey, it's fun on this side of the aisle. We've got a lot of friends, and we know how to have fun. I can live. I don't need a lot of money. Like I said, I just want a roof over my head and I want to eat. But I've been watching these channels where they're like, you're gonna own nothing and you're gonna have to learn to like it. And it's like, I don't care about owning things. I would like to have my own home because I don't want to have a landlord. But hey, as long as I have a roof over my head, I'm dry and warm, I'll be fine, and I can eat and, listen to some music, work on some art, have my pets, have a garden. I just want a simple life. Probably. I haven't heard that, but you're probably right. But yeah, I just want a simple life. I don't need a lot. I mean, I would like to travel. I would like to do that. All costs money. Will that ever happen? I don't know. I would like to, and know, I just wanna, have a little space, a little quiet space where I'm not with people all the time. I'm still somewhat of an introvert. I like people like you guys online. I can talk to you when I wanna talk to you. You're not in my face, you're not here all the time, and this works out well for me. Yeah, and electricity. I do like electricity. Yeah, and I like running water and flushing toilets, you know? That's your yeah. Are you talking to me, Dawn, or the other Dawn? There's another Dawn. Um, where are you? I'm still in Northern California, guys. Yeah, I they're still having problems with the airline, you guys. It's they laid off a bunch of air traffic controllers, and they're not saying a big thing about it, but I've been talking to the people at the airport. I've been there how many times now? I talked to, and it's a tiny little airport. They're the nicest airport I've ever been in. The people that work there, they're funny, they're warm, they're just lovely people. We actually have conversations. And I'm live streaming from Humboldt County. I'm in Trinidad, Delta Dawn. Yeah. Remember that song? That was my song. And they just said that they're cutting back on their flights because the cost of fuel right now. So they cancel a lot of flights. And my flight always gets canceled, the afternoon one. And the lady told me my best chance is to fly out at 6 a.m., which I'm trying to avoid because I'm not a morning person. I don't want to make my family have to get up, at 4 a.m. to take me to the airport. But we realize we have no choice. That's the only ones that are getting out. So if I want to leave, which is not like I don't leave here, but I do have to go home. Oh, there goes my camera again. I need to take the 6 a.m. flight. And I'm biting the bullet. I'm going to get up early Wednesday and I will get out of here and I'll be back home. But I miss my family down there, like I said. But once I'm down there, I'm gonna miss my daughter up here. And, I can't win. But, yep, I'm still at my daughter's, which, you guys know, I'm enjoying it's like a long vacation. I see edible insects. Oh god, who knows? Things could get rougher. We're gonna have to start hunting for our own food, you know? Have you guys ever read Possum Living? I remember I bought that book a few years ago when things were getting bad. This is when I was really into prepping, because she wrote a book about living on nothing. She had no money and things you could do to live on, like, no money and, hunt for your own food, that kind of thing. And I thought, "Hey, I could do that." I don't know if I could, but yeah, a lot of TSA agents quit eating dirt for minerals. Yeah, yeah, who knows, but, I just wanna be able to eat healthy. I don't wanna have to eat crap, live off top ramen, I wanna live a little bit longer. Yeah, you gotta book the earliest flight. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna stay up all night. I think that would be easier than going to bed and trying to get up at 4 AM because that like I said, that's the middle of the night to me. I a lot of times I stay up to 2 AM anyway, so I can just stay up a couple hours longer. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. I don't know about you guys, but when I get up extra early like that, I just feel like junk, I'm at that point in my life that my sleep is like one of the most important things I can do for my health. If I get 8 hours, I'm amazing. Everything's just wonderful. If I get 6 hours, I feel like I'm hungover the whole day. I just feel like junk. So if I was to go to bed, I usually fall asleep by midnight. That's early for me. So I'm going to get up at 4. So 4 hours sleep, I'm gonna feel like absolute junk, and I know it. I know, I've been reading about what plants are edible and that kind of thing. I love that stuff. Eating crap for years. I know I did. I'm surprised I'm still here, to be honest with you guys. When I looked at my diet, things that I thought were healthy, but I thought I was eating healthy all these years, and I found out how bad it was. And then add my family genetics on top of it and, the environment. It's like I'm lucky to still be alive. I don't either, Lena. I understand all that. But still, it affects, flying. Flying is not, especially up here because she's at 5 minutes from the airport, which is amazing because we're an hour from the airport. But it's a teeny tiny airport. Only one airplane goes out at a time. There's one comes in and one goes out. So it's lovely. It's a little tiny airport. But it's just they're cutting the flights from here to San Francisco because all basically everything lands in San Francisco. Once you leave here, you either go to San Francisco or you go to Denver. And the flights into San Francisco, like, okay, I could have flown out yesterday. My flight was delayed like an hour or something like that. It was going to be delayed, which wasn't too bad. I thought, okay, I'll do that. But what that meant was I was going to get into our San Francisco an hour later and I would literally had 10 minutes from the time my plane landed till the next flight took off. Well, it takes you more than 10 minutes to get off the plane. I would not have gotten off the plane in time to get on my connecting flight. And at that point, the next one, she said I would have had to been on standby and I would have had to wait anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. I did not want to sit in the San Francisco airport for 8 to 12 hours. Just didn't want to do it. I know, I wish I could do that. Everybody was like, "Go to the airport early," but like I told you, I went to the airport an hour and a half before my flight. They wouldn't even let me in. They said, "You gotta wait till 1." It's like, "My flight leaves at 2." But there was nobody there. They don't because it's a tiny airport, so I had to sit there. At least the building was open. I had somewhere to sit. I had to sit and wait, and at 1, they let me check in. Hey, did you guys know you don't have to take your shoes off anymore? I don't know if that's at all the airports, but they have a big sign up that we didn't have to take our shoes off, which is cool because next time I'll wear my walking shoes. I just wore my slip-ons because I thought I'm not gonna, want to put my tennis shoes on and tie them and all that. I'm fat and old, so I just wore my slip-ons. I thought it'd be easier, and my feet were cold. I was freezing, so now I can wear my regular shoes. I'll do that. So I'm excited about that. That's a big change and they're getting to know me now. I've been there how many times now? 4 times and haven't left. And each time I load up my luggage, they load my luggage up. And each time I have to go back and say, hey, can I get my suitcase off the flight? And I have really pretty luggage. My husband bought it for me years ago because I used to actually travel. I have this really, it's vintage it's white and, rose gold. It's really pretty. I really like my luggage. But anyway, she goes, "Oh, I know you. You're the colorful lady with the pretty luggage." Because I always wear my rainbow coat and all my, I like color. And so they're starting to recognize me. Oh, hi, honey. That's my daughter. She's here. You on lunch? Yeah, the shoe bombs, remember? I guess they haven't had any problems with that. So the sporks in my heels. I know they throw away if you have any kind of liquid. I've done that. I've been stupid about that. They throw that stuff right out. So I don't take anything that I don't have. I did take, I packed my laptop in my suitcase and I'd already checked it, but you're not supposed to do that because those batteries can blow up and, on the plane. So you're supposed to carry them on with you. And I was so worried that something like that was going to happen and I was going to have to pay for everything. I was freaking out. Yeah. So you know what? Something like that happened to me my last flight with my granddaughter. We didn't get assigned seats till we got on the plane, and they split us up. She's a tiny little thing, and one of us either had to sit between two very large men or two ladies. So I let her sit with the two ladies, and I sat between these two big men on either side of me. As a matter of fact, even before I got in the seat, their arms were almost touching. So I had to like move them out so I could sit in between. And there was no putting my arms on the armrest. I just sat there like this. It was only like an hour and 10-minute flight, but oh my God. And it was not pleasant at all. I was like this. I always try to get the window seat or the aisle seat because at least you can lean away if somebody's, taking up more than their seat, you know. And then I told you guys when I tried to get on the, I got somehow I got a seat that had no leg room. I can't even believe they have seats like that. Literally had no leg room. I'm 5'2" and I had no leg room, and it was not comfortable. My knees were right up against the seat. I tried to make a joke to the lady that was already there, and she just stared at me. I was like, "Oh, awkward." But yeah, when you fly out of here, it's on a little plane. There's just two seats on either side. And then once you fly out of San Francisco, I'll be on a bigger flight. I prefer the two-seaters because then, it's not as bad. But the one going from San Francisco, they're always three-seaters. So there's always a chance you're going to get stuck in the middle seat. You never know. Yeah, things have changed. Yep, yeah, seats are smaller. My brother was like, "Did you get on one of those planes that have, roll down windows and ashtrays?" He said, "Didn't they used to?" No. I do too. I do too. That's our love language is feeding our families. I like having food. I don't cook. My husband does all the cooking, but I bake, and I want to be able to feed my family. I want to have, more food. You lost a whole person, brother. You lost a whole person. Isn't that nice? That is nice. When I started flying and I lost weight and the seats are much more comfortable because that was always a concern. I thought, what if I get to the point where I have to ask for a seat extender? I'll die. I'll walk off the plane. But not my biggest that didn't happen. But yeah, it just feels better now. And the seats are more comfortable since I've lost weight. So that's nice. Because I had a family member years ago that wouldn't fly because of that, and I thought, "That's a drag, man. You can't fit in the seats." The only way they could do it is to fly first class because the seats are a little bit bigger, so that's a drag. They had to pay extra, so, I feel bad for them. Whoa! 270 pounds, you're my hero. That's awesome, man. I lost 60 and I thought that was amazing. That's fan How'd you do it? Yeah, I try to get window seats. Maybe on a plane with 2 seats on each side. Yeah, those are little planes, yeah, and they get cramped. Oh, well, it's probably gonna be a whole new experience now that you lost weight, a whole new experience. It definitely makes a difference for sure. You'll be more comfortable. Plus walking down the aisle, walking down the aisle's like this wide. So no matter what you do, your butt's gonna be in everybody's face all the way down the aisle, you're bumping into people. I hate it. That's why I always want to try and get one of the seats up front so I have to walk by less people, but you have to walk sideways sometimes. That is amazing. Good for you. Yeah, how? How? We did it with the carnivore diet. I don't know who that is. I'll have to check her out. I'm not single. I've been married for 550 years. No, I've been married for, well, it'll be 44 years this year. Plus, we lived together for 2 years before that. Oh my god, we're so old. We got together when we were 18 and 19. Yeah. Oh, really? You know what? I had lap band surgery and I didn't lose weight. I had, yeah, I actually it took the carnivore diet to help me lose weight, but I did the lap band and, I mean, I lost some weight. You're gonna lose some weight, but I didn't lose as much as I did. But good for you. I did mine like, it's been 10 years. Okay. And that's smart if you recognize that. That's smart. 'Cause I think that's what happens to a lot of people. They don't realize that it's not just, they actually have a food addiction. So that makes a difference. But, yeah, I know a lot of you don't agree, but the carnivore diet to me was amazing. I can't brag about it enough. Just because it was the only diet that helped me kick my sugar habit. Because I was a sugar addict. That was my drug, and I could not quit it. I would cut back on it, but I couldn't quit it, and I needed to quit it. And so, I stumbled on carnivore, and my brother knows, and, um, it changed my life, and I never felt as good as I did when I was doing carnivore. I felt amazing, and I wanna get back to that. It cleared my head up, it gave me energy, it got rid of all my inflammation, I had no pain, which I started doing that again when I got up here. I don't inflammatory foods. Boy, does that make a difference as we get older, I'll tell you, because I was getting all those aching joints and pains again, that come along with getting older. They're gone just from cutting out inflammatory foods. It is, Jason. Absolutely is 8 times more addictive. Yeah, sugar is my thing. Yeah, and you've gotta go in and get your labs checked, make sure your cholesterol's good, your blood pressure. Although there's all these debates about cholesterol now, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, and, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but there's a lot of channels, and if you guys want to know more, and, um, Purple Coconuts, check out his site because, he knows way more about it. He's actually certified in the carnivore diet. So, yeah, he can help you out 'cause, he was my mentor when I first started. And thank God, 'cause, if I hadn't had George, I don't know what I would have done. He basically held my hand through it and just, it feels good to feel good. If you haven't felt good in years, and I didn't, I felt like dog poop for most of my life, to be honest with you, because I was eating a standard American diet. I thought it was healthy, and, I had all the issues that go along with it. Yeah, refined flour, sugar, yeah, and, what they've done with our foods, you guys know, it's not food anymore, it's breaking food, and I lived off of that, and once I started eating whole foods, basically whole foods, that's the main thing, um, I felt like $1,000,000. I was like, "Is this what healthy people feel like?" I never felt healthy. I didn't know. I had no more brain fog. I had energy. I was sleeping good. I had good BMs. That happens as you get older. It changes your digestive system, but not with that. Right? Right, George? And just no more aches and pains. And yet, I did this for 9 months, you guys. Did it, felt like superwoman. People were getting sick of me because I was always bragging about how good I feel, how much energy I have, and was losing weight, and everything was amazing. And I literally fell off that wagon. I went back to the drug, the sugar, and just fell right back into it. Started gaining weight, started feeling like crap. And yet it was hard for me to pull myself out of it. It's like I did it before. Why is it so hard? It's always harder the second time around. but thank God I have, my brother to lean on, and, there's a huge carnivore community if you're interested. Now, I personally say it's not for everybody, a lot of people tell me I'm wrong, but I feel like you have to find what works for you. That's the thing. I'm not gonna tell anybody what to do, but I've tried every other diet under the sun, and this was the only one that made me feel this way. So for me, it was a godsend. I really appreciate it. But I've had other people tell me they've been on it, they felt terrible, they couldn't do it, whatever. So I'm not going to force it on anybody. But if you're interested, I have a lot of videos on it. I talk about it a lot. It's basically a low carb type thing. Oh God, that's what I lived on, Jim. What are you kidding? Yeah, that's my favorite. I could live off of that. Um, yeah, it does. It helps with lipedema. I've heard a lot about that, and basically the pain, because I was in so much pain, God, and even when I first came up here, if you guys were watching my videos, remember I'd thrown my back out doing Uber, delivering 40-pound cases of water. I knew I did it when it happened, I could tell, and then my sciatica was acting up. I was miserable. And then I was sleeping, I wasn't in my bed. I was sleeping between my granddaughter's bed and the couch. I was dying. I was in so much pain. I was like, this is a nightmare. I'm going to have to go home and see a doctor and probably have surgery. I thought I must have ruptured a disc or something because it was too much pain. And the only thing I could think to do while I was here, since I couldn't see a doctor, was at least change my diet. I thought I'm going to quit eating the inflammatory foods. We'll see what that does for me. I am not kidding you guys. Within 2 days, the pain was gone just from giving up the inflammatory foods, the sugar and stuff. And I still can't. I'm still talking. Yes, Christopher. I can talk. You guys, I'm alone up here. It's my daughter works all day. I have nobody to talk to. I don't talk on the phone. So I've been lonely. That's why I thought I'm going to do a live. I'm going to talk to you guys. You're my friends. You'll listen to me. you know. I've tried to make videos for you guys, try to show you the scenery up here because it is really pretty. But I just, I miss talking to people. At least, we can, chat and stuff. But yeah, like I said, the carnivore diet, it's not for everybody, but for those that did it and love it, they love it. Like I said, there's so many channels on it to help you out if you're interested. I just thought it was easy. It was one of the easier diets for me, like I said, because I do like meat. Not a lot of people do. And I just ate a lot of meat, a lot of eggs, cheese. They tell you not to eat too much dairy, it'll affect your weight loss, but I wasn't necessarily doing it to lose weight as I was to feel good and to keep my sugar habit. And so that was amazing to me. I kicked my sugar habit, but like I said, I went back to my drugs. So I know you're serious, and I can't wait to see it. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought about doing more like podcast type things because it's mainly me talking. I like to show you guys some scenery so you don't get bored with me. So I do occasional videos where I take you outside and stuff, but mainly it's me just ranting and talking about life and stuff like that. So I thought I need to move into doing more like podcasts and talk more about that because I want to interview people. I love it when I've done, a few interviews on here. I love talking to people. I do, don't I? The community of people. I am so lucky, you guys, because there's some horrible people out there. There are some really terrible, nasty trolls, and I see them on other people's comments. But my community here, I have been fortunate to attract such a kind community, and I just love it. I love, and I try to answer and see your comments. They're hidden. So if I ignore you, it's not on purpose. I try to talk to everybody because I really enjoy you guys. You're all such nice people, and I like to respond back to you guys. But it's nice knowing I'm not alone. There's a lot of other people out here. I heard the current if you do it for years, you got a break. What? No, I've never heard that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, that sounds good. I love potatoes. I love potatoes. I could eat potatoes all the time. I as a matter of fact, that's what I made for dinner the other night. I think a lot of them are AI. I think you're right, a lot of the trolls, so that's why I feel stupid when I argue with them. I'm thinking, "Am I even arguing with a person? This isn't even a person." 'Cause I've had people c that one guy, I don't know if you guys saw him, he called me a scumbag and was telling me I was a scam artist. He was just a total jerk. I'd never had anybody that mean. I was still nice to him, you guys. I was still nice, but he was like, "You're such a scumbag." What was he saying? Because I was telling people that there's not a lot of help for older people trying to find housing and stuff, and he was telling me what a liar I was, and I'm just trying to scam people. It's like, "How am I trying to scam people? I'm trying to help people." I asked him if he knew of any programs to leave links to it because I want to share that with people, but yeah, I still don't know. Was he real? Was he AI? 'Cause there's a lot of usually trolls just they don't respond back to me. So that's usually how I know they're a troll because they'll make some really nasty comment, and then when I respond to them, I don't get any reply. So I think you're right. I think a lot of it's AI. I need to not waste my time, but I'm that way. When somebody comes at me, it's like, I gotta set them straight, but I try to do it in the nicest way possible. I try to be polite, because my daughter's the same way, and um, she wanted to respond, and I was like, "No, I don't want them attacking you," you know? So she'll respond, and she's very polite. She knows how to say things civilly. We'll joke about it behind the scenes what we'd really like to say, but we would never say anything rude. Yeah, and people can be horrible. I've done videos on that where I shared, comments from some of my trolls because I mean, to me, some of it's funny because it's so bad, you know? But for if you're just starting a channel, it can be pretty scary, you feel very vulnerable because people usually they don't attack your content. They just like to talk crap about, how you look or how you sound. This one guy made a comment and I don't care about what people say about the way I look. That usually doesn't bother me, but he said that the reason that I couldn't get a decent job, even though I had a degree, was because I talked like a moron. And I had made the comment, I was talking about how I had gone in for an interview and I was embarrassed because, people don't go in and talk to the manager anymore. They do it online. And I was saying that he said, I seen your application. If I wanted to talk to you, I would have called you. Well, I said that wrong. I should have said, he saw my application, but I said, "I seen." And he goes, "No wonder you didn't get hired if you talk like that." I thought, "Give me a break." I messed up. I said things wrong. It's not like I mean, I don't have the greatest vocabulary, but I don't think I sound complete moron, not all the time. So, it just that was the only thing he picked out of that whole video was that one thing that I said that wasn't proper English. And I thought, "Come on, I'm from the Midwest, give me a break." I know they haven't woke up. Can you see them? And the other one over there too. You can see him. He's right there. And there's one right over there. My daughter's the crazy cat lady like me. That's why I need property, you guys. I need a big property so I can feed the possums and the skunks and the raccoons and all the cats. Are you? I should make you a moderator. Oh, good. I need to learn how to do that. You know what? I'm gonna do that if you don't mind, George. I can make you a moderator ahead of time. I'm gonna look into that because this time I haven't gotten anything. If you guys have been in any of my other lives, I had this one guy that comes on here and he just is, nasty stuff, just trying to get everybody's attention. And then I'll delete him, and then he comes back with the same name but a different number. He just keeps going down the line. It's like, how many stock puppet channels can you make? I don't understand how that works. Right? I need one of those. I need a helmet. Exactly, and that's what I was trying to do. I thought, I'll go in person and say, "Look, I've applied online. I don't know if you've had a chance to see my application." Introduce yourself, shake your hand, that whole bit. But, he was like 40 years younger than me. He's probably in his 20s. He looked at me like I was this poor old grandma who had dementia, that I didn't understand how things worked. I think he was embarrassed for me, but basically he just said, when they look at the applications online, if they're interested, they will email you. You don't need to come in. I was wasting their time is basically so, I was embarrassed. I'm old. I don't know how things work now. Right? That's what I thought. It wasn't like it was a huge thing, but yeah, he went on and on about it. That was the only thing in the whole video that he cared about. I was like, "Give me a break." I do, I misuse words, like, in the wrong context, I'm famous for that, but give me a break. Oh, no. Yeah, people do that. They dox you, they stalk you. I see that happen on a lot of channels. People got no life. It's like, why bother? If I watch a channel and I'm not interested or I think they're bad or whatever, I just didn't watch them. It's not like I got time to terrorize anybody else that's online. Add moderator? Okay. Let's see if I can find it. Where would I even chat? And I'm not very computer savvy. I really am not. My grandkids have to help me with almost everything I do because it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm on comments. It says banners, style, notes, people, private chat. But I don't know how to do it. You have to, there's got to be a place over here. Let me hit the guess. Nope. Nope. Oh, now I can't see you guys. I better wait because I don't know what I'm doing. I know, right? It's hard. That's why I don't understand why, older people would wanna date younger people. It's so hard to relate to them. They don't like the same music, the same movie references, the same comedy. I was being stalked not long ago and had to No! Are you serious? I was wondering why you did that. I was wondering. I noticed, but I didn't know why. Oh my god. I had, some weirdo when I first joined. He knew where I lived. Um, he actually was from my town. I knew he was because of the way he talked. And I was like, "Okay, I don't care if people in my town know." But I wasn't giving away my town. I was trying to keep it low key. Well, he kept saying, "No, you don't. You live blah, blah, blah." And I was like, so I would delete his comments, and then he'd be like, "Why are you deleting my comments?" It's like, "'Cause I don't want everybody to know exactly where I live." And he kept doing so I had to delete him. I thought, "What a weirdo," but I still don't know who he is. He obviously was somebody that knew me and lived in my area. Goes by the Oh, really? Yeah, that's the way this guy was, George, that would come on here very offensive. He was trying to gross everybody out, I think. Oh, man, I hope you did. I hope you shook him. I hope he's gone. Yeah, I mainly get people that just come on here that, wanna shame me and tell me what an idiot I am. It's like, okay, whatever. I used to erase all of the negative comments, but you know what? You guys, they help with the algorithms, and they don't really bother me. I got a thick skin in my old age. Unless they're really nasty or inappropriate, I don't really, anymore. I leave them up. I let other people talk to them because other people will comment to them. Yeah, I know. That's from our generation. We follow up in person. Oh, wow. But you guys, well, hey, if it works, don't listen to me. You know, I'm just saying, for me personally, I noticed that when I talk to the younger generation, they don't always get my humor because I'll bring up lines from movies that they don't know, or I mention actors. from back in the day, and they're like, "Huh?" What did I mentioned Red Skelton the other day, and people are like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so old. Nobody even knows who I'm talking about." Or, have you guys ever done that? Mentioned people from our era, shows from way back when, and kids nowadays have no idea. I mean, I've run into kids that don't even know who the Beatles are. Leave it right, and that's what I did. And other people will comment to them. And like I said, I try not to be too. I try to be nice. Wow, does it really? Yeah, we were paying a lot. My husband, or he and I, because he gets our insurance through his work. But now he doesn't. He gets Medicare. I always get the two mixed up, but he qualified because he turned 65, so that saved us. Did you really? He was a gentleman, wasn't he? You know what I liked about Red Skelton? I liked that he laughed at his own jokes. He cracked himself up. I just thought he was a lovely person. I think people who are English teachers or English officials get mad when we use. I think so. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I don't know. I triggered them. God, I'm sure I would make a lot of people miserable the way I talk, but I am able to communicate. People understand me. So, you know, I'm definitely not an English major, but like I said, it was just one word and he just wouldn't let up. Oh, he was born in, I didn't even know that. My brother got to be not his bodyguard, but he walked around with him one day. It was at an arts thing. My brother's an artist, and he was at some festival, and Red Skelton came, and he got to basically be his tour guide, show him around for the day, and they'd sat down and had, I don't know if they had lunch or drinks together, and he got to visit with him. He's got a lot of pictures with him, and he said the same thing. He was just a lovely person. The generation had a healthy level of levity. Yeah, something that is lost on it. Right, right. So much more fun. Oh God, yes. Oh my God, yes. And Johnny Carson. Oh, I miss all that was fun. Things people laughed. Now everybody gets so offended. Everything's so inappropriate. Always being used to screen job applications, and it looks for certain words and will reject the application. Yeah, because people were like, "How do they know how old you are? You don't have to say," which is true. But if you put down that you've had 40 years job experience, they know you're obviously older. So they said, don't put that on there. Just act like, oh, I've got 10 years job experience. I'm so young. But yeah, you just got to be careful. But I gave up on all that, you guys. I gave up. I'm just I'm still doing Uber. I don't know if I will when I get back. We'll see if it's still profitable, but I'm hearing a lot of negativity about it. It had been working out well for me, but it doesn't work for everybody. And I try to explain that. It depends on your area. See, I live in a very small community, so I'm not going to be putting a lot of miles on my car. And it's a semi-retired community, so there's a lot of older people that no longer drive, so they're willing to pay somebody like me to go pick up groceries and aid or food and stuff like that, and they tip well. But not in. I've watched other channels where they do it, and people don't tip, or they take their tip back, or they're driving 10, 15 miles to deliver food. It's not like that for me. It's a totally. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. Rowan and Martin's laughing. Hee haw. Oh my, we grew up on that. My dad loved hee haw. He liked the hee haw honeys. We used to watch that all the time. Hysterical. Goldie Hawn back then on Laugh-In, or even them, Rowan, they were so funny. Yeah, there's definitely ageism. People say there's not. They don't know. Unless you're dealing with it, you don't know. But it does exist. Some people think it's a good thing. Well, I don't agree with that because if you're, priced out of the economy and you can't afford to put food on the table, don't you deserve to work? Would they rather have, you get a handout? I want to work. I want to make money. But they think that we're all just stealing their jobs. It's like, look, doing Uber isn't a career. I'm not stealing a job for anybody. Young people don't wanna even do it. Danny Kaye, love Danny Kaye. Game shows like What's My Line? Oh my god, you guys, I love all that. I work with a lot of college grads in environmental work, and I have to say I love hearing stories. They love do they? Good is the language we use. I know, huh? We did talk different. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I people tease me about my Midwestern accent because I still say "wash." I wash my car, wash my dishes. My kids are like, "Wash? You spell that with an R, mom?" Yes, remember him? He was so the little guy, right? He was hilarious. Carol Burnett and Tim Conway. Still love watching them. Oh my god. I wonder if kids would even know who Donny Osmond is. He was our crush back in the day. Osmond Brothers, the Partridge Family, Jackson 5 before they were just Michael Jackson. The Fontaine sisters lived in your town? Really? Oh, wow. They were so cool. I miss all of it. Every time somebody from that generation passes away, it's like it hits we're losing our generation. We're losing even, like, oh, they were just a celebrity, but you don't understand. It was a connection to that time. We're losing them. It's an odd feeling. And especially, when they die of old age, it's not like they passed away from a drug overdose. They're old, you know. Who recently passed away? I think somebody recently passed away, and we're like, what'd they die from? And I think my husband said they were old. Oh, I know who he is. He's good. He's been in a lot of movies. I can't think of anything he's done recently. Joan Worley, Lily Tomlin. Yeah, is Lily Tomlin still alive? She's still alive, right? She was in that show with Jane Fonda. Was Grace Lily? I don't know. It's actually a cute show. She did really good in that. She was funny, and I thought she was doing good. Oh, really? I know who Charles Durning is. Wow. Was his son an actor? Did he follow? Right. I know. Think about it. I Dream of Jeannie, right? 86 years old. Hey Liz, how you doing? How are you? Are you traveling? 9 to 5 movie, the one with Dolly Parton? I love Dolly. They put your proficient. Oh, I never thought about that, Lady Guy. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm sure I age myself in all my applications. That's why it's useless. That's why I didn't get any response to any of them. And I sent out hundreds. And now, yeah, he does. 95. My God. Can you imagine? That is so cool. I've never, I live in Southern California. I don't know any celebrities, never ran into any. Everybody always asked about it. It's like, nope, never seen a one. The only time I seen them is if I went to a concert or something. Star Wars. God, is it that old, Star Wars? Wow. I love 9 to 5. Vicki Lawrence lives in your neighborhood? No way. How old is she? Is she 80s, 70s? Right? We all need to laugh. And I love the old comedians. They crack me up. The new ones I don't always get. There's a handful of them that we watch. Brian Regan because he's family friendly, he doesn't cuss a lot. And then there's a new one that my kids started watching. Oh, Nate Bargatze, and he's also family friendly, but it's different. I like the old comedians. They're very inappropriate, and now they would not. Yeah, you couldn't watch them. But back in the day, they were funny. She's 77. Okay, she's not that old. All the laughing people, the oldest was 45, the youngest was she was 19. Wow, we're all older than we are. Yeah, no kidding. I seen Goldie Hawn on something and people were giving her crap, because she's had work done or whatever, and she does look different. But her daughter was standing up for her, and her daughter was saying, instead of picking on my mom for the way she looks, in this industry, that's part of it. You don't know what a beautiful, vibrant person she is. She's still fun. She's still, she was a wonderful mother. And she said she really gets offended. I thought she was sweet. I liked Goldie Hawn. I thought she was a doll. My husband is I loved All in the Family. And I'm Mike and Molly. I watched that one too. Phyllis Diller was hysterical. She was a tiny lady. I didn't realize that. She was real tiny. Yep, all the guys who did the voices. Yep, Rich Little. Remember Rich Little? He could imitate anybody. He was amazing. That's good to hear. But like I said, 70s isn't that far off. I'm in my mid 60s, so 70s like, oh, she's so young. Really? Robert Redford? You know what I like about him is he's aged naturally. He's actually done some movies, and it's like I prefer that than when people go in and get work done and then they look strange. I mean, to each his own. I'm not criticizing people for that, but I really appreciate when I see an actor that let themselves just age like a normal human being. I just watched a movie with him and Barbara Streisand that I had never seen before, The Way We Were. Oh my God, I bawled my eyes out. That was a cute movie. I'd never seen it. I don't know why, but I just recently watched it. Oh, I know. And Private Benjamin, oh, she's hilarious. Was the manager of every theater. Oh my God, really? Really interesting. Is she? That's nice to hear. I like hearing that. You always hear about that. I know. I they know a secret. I don't know. They live to be 104. Isn't that supposed to be in that area? They have more centurions than anywhere else in the country. I agree, crazy cat lady. Yes. Yeah, Goldie Hawn and Overboard. Hilarious. Yeah, and I love those type of movies. That's what I need. I need to start watching more comedy, lighthearted stuff. I don't watch like horror flicks. If it's got like a lot of violence or gore, I'm out. I can't do that kind of stuff. It's so hard to find a good um, drama or even a good comedy anymore. So that's why I don't really watch TV or movies. I watch YouTube. This is free, and that's what I do. But I wish there was more. We need that kind of stuff. Take our mind off of what's going on. You know, I remember sitting down as a family and watching, those shows together. We would watch All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Hee Haw, all that, and they were fun, and we'd laugh together. I think it was bonding, as a family. Who's on first with that? Oh, that's a classic. I know, and Kurt Russell and Billy Hunter, I just love them as a couple. Just love them. Oh, there he is, guys. Okay, well, let's see if I can get rid of you. Oh, delete comment, ban user and delete comment. Okay. Hopefully that got rid of him, but he'll be back. He'll just use a different number. Um, I still see his comment. Let me delete his comment too. I ban user and delete their comments. I did. Let's see. It won't take him long to come back. He'll just come back as another. Actually, Stone is better looking now. Yeah, I agree with that. This happens so many times. Every time I do a live, we start talking about the good old days. We start reminiscing because we're all kind of that same age group. You know what I mean? It's so fun. Let's see. Disney, yeah, remember when Disney films were actually Disney films? The Wonderful World of Disney. Thank you, Olivia. I don't know how to make anybody a mod. I need to do that, you guys. I thought there should be something that says make people mods, and I don't see anything. I'm going to have to figure this out. Thank you for reporting him, you guys. He's the one, and it's weird because 'cause he's been doing this on all my lives. I haven't done a live in a while, and last time he came back under I don't know how many accounts he has. He just keeps coming back. He's bored and lonely, but, I try not to give him much attention. I try to just delete him when he comes up. See, 16. Thank you. Yeah, I deleted him. It's like, who has to why would you wanna do that? Yeah, you didn't miss nothing. It's just gross. I guess if you're bored and you don't have no life, I think the mod thing is your YouTube studio. Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it. I'm like, where is it? I see like comments and media stuff. Good. I got rid of the comment. Good, good. Because it kept showing up, even though I said I banned him. I was like, darn it. So I'm going to have to figure it out for next time because I don't like going through this. I don't want you guys to have to see that junk. Uh, it, it, you get thick skin. No, I haven't. Is it something I would enjoy? I know, isn't that crazy, you guys? Archie Bunker was only 48 in All in the Family. Oh my God, he looks like he's in his 60s. Okay, you have to do it outside of the live. It's in your settings. Okay, thank you, Simply Blue. So I will figure that out for the next time. I think I can do that ahead of time. I can go on ahead of time and make people moderators because I think that's what I'll do. So I don't have to worry about that. I know, isn't it crazy though when you think about how old people used to look and they're younger than we are now, but everybody looks so young or so old. I look at pictures of my mom when she was, well, my mom didn't even live to be as old as I am now, but even she was like 62, I think. And yeah, they just look different. The way they did their hair and stuff, they looked older. I and oh, how depressing. How depressing. Everybody in that movie's dead. I know, that's sad, and we're seeing that more and more. We're losing them right and left. Okay, I'll do it. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, see, I don't do these lives very often, so I don't know, but I should have, do some research ahead of time, so I'm more prepared. Go to YouTube Studio, navigate to Settings, select Community, and add their channel. Okay. Figure that out. Oh, um, oh, that's just for the layout. Never mind. I'll do it afterwards because I'll mess it up. I'll end up doing something wrong. But thank you guys for letting me know. I will look into that so we don't have to do that. You look so much older. I know it's sad that everybody's gone. And even musicians. A musician died recently. My husband always gets so sad. Musicians are going. Yeah, you're right. Right. You see that a lot. Well, you guys, I have talked for over 2 hours, but this was fun. I needed this. I appreciate you guys coming in. This was a lot of fun. Um, like I said, I get lonely. My daughter's at work all day. Close. Oh, I miss all that. I love Lucy. God, I used to love watching, Lucy and Ethel, Sally Struthers. Yeah, she was. She did voices for several different cartoons, actually. And then she was in Gilmore Girls. She was kind of the crazy cat lady next door. I liked her there. Was it the most? Oh God, me too. I think everybody felt that way. That was such a sweet, sweet person. Yeah, that was hard. Yeah, both of them. I totally agree. But anyway, I am going to let you guys go. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think we got a lot of crazy cat ladies here. Well, as you can see. this one over here and that one and that one. I think we got 4. But anyway, Mork and Minnie, I know. Wasn't he quick? Man, that guy was quick. Yeah, my daughter and I, we're Gilmore Girls fans, so I love that. Bye, crazy cat lady. And you guys, I am going to let you go. Thank you. I sincerely appreciate you guys for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I needed this. And I will be home. I will be home Wednesday. Mark my words. I will be flying out of here. I will be home Wednesday. Oh, that Rob Reiner. Yeah, that that's so sad. Thank you. I thought so too. I thought it was a lot of fun, you guys. So, yeah, I'm gonna check out now, but, thank you guys for being here. You guys are great. I really appreciate it, and, I might have a video up tonight or tomorrow, and then I won't be doing anything else until I get home, so I will see you guys in that one. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Lady Di. Thanks, Olivia. Thanks, George. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you guys.